This goes over how to combine parts and make a group of objects that are similar. In another video, this will be applied to connecting characters and making variations on groups of characters. Here, start out with basic parts, and all this has a visual smooth applied to it, but not a real smooth applied to it. If you want to make another variation on maybe this original tree, you would just shift, drag it after selecting it, move over, start to rotate the parts as needed, and then edit it on the vertex level. And the reason why you would do such a task, think about the similarity of objects in nature when they're next to one another. Even though each one is unique, there's still this general feeling that they belong to the same group. So you might just vary parts of it. You can add another limb by shift dragging, add another tree branch. And the goal would be you need to create a group of objects, a group of characters that are similar looking. And then you go down to the vertex level. You can add new parts to this system if you had. Or you could just work with the current parts and manipulate them to make a variation on that. Maybe making this a little more curvy, like that. Shrinking this tree limb. And here's a grouping of objects that are similar, yet unique. Now, this could be okay for your animation, but if you need this to be smoothed out and we're going with this whole process, how do you create an interchangeable system of characters so you can experiment with the look of your characters quickly and then make it ready for animation? I'll select this one to combine into one piece. And to do this, I'm going to select it all, press the 1 key. This is how the object really looks. 3 was just a preview, but at the 1 key preview, this is the polygon mesh. Going into Mesh Smooth and applying it. Selecting these object parts, going File, Export Selection, calling it Tree 1, and then opening it up in Blender. Import that object that was just saved out. So File, Import, it's an FBX file. You don't see your object in the viewport. It's still selected when you import it. Press the period key to zoom into it. Just means the scale's different than your previous application. I'm going to select each part, and under Object Properties, select Viewport Properties and click on Wireframe just to get a better understanding of what's about to occur as things get booleaned together. To join everything, it's going to be under the Add modifier, selecting Boolean, a union type of Boolean, using the object picker to pick the next object, in this case the tree trunk, applying this, and then reselecting the tree trunk because when things were booleaned together, the original was left alone, so I need to get rid of that original. Selecting the two joined objects, Boolean, and just repeating this process, selecting the next part, union, apply, bleeding, selecting everything, 2 more to go, Boolean, union, pick the object, apply, selecting that original, deleting, 1 more to go, union, object picker, apply, and selecting the original, and delete. Everything is now joined, and did a pretty okay job at doing this. When dealing with a character, things might not work out as nicely. Let me go through the process of how you would correct it for a character, and then it will be applied to a character. The next step would be to smooth out the connection. And to do this, select the object, go under Sculpt, pick up the Smooth tool, which is this one, press the F key to increase or decrease the size of the brush, Shift F to make the strength lower by moving the mouse towards the left, and then click to commit to that size. That's the same thing as changing the radius and the strength. This object isn't symmetrical. I'll turn off symmetry here. This next part is just going in, and wherever you think it needs a better connection, maybe here, just clicking with the smooth brush to smooth out that connection. Maybe here where it looks like it's bunching up a little bit. Clicking on those vertices and dragging around the smooth brush. You can increase the strength. You want it to happen quicker. But you don't want it to happen too quick because it is distorting the geometry. Clicking and dragging around. Click and drag. And this smooths the connections. Next, go back to object mode. Rename this object. Finished tree. Selecting it. File, export. Check export selection. Give it a name. And jump back to Maya. Move this tree over, which is the one that was just exported. Then we could do a side-by-side comparison. File, import. And there's the side-by-side comparison. It's the same structure. You can see here versus here, where it's just jammed in together, this is more noticeable. It's a low density model, and that will be great for a background tree. If you need to smooth it more, you can apply Mesh Smooth. And this process eliminated the obvious seams. Next up, it would be doing this for a character.